guys, welcome back to Sports and Ish. We are so excited to have you back. Sports and Ish with
Misty V
and Rachel Lee. Go ahead and like us on YouTube, Spotify, all your podcasts. Comment. We love to hear your feedback, and we really appreciate it. So, Misty, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I think I this is our first time recording in the morning, so we're gonna have a blast with this. We're both trying to wake up right now. So.
I know, right? It's a little different. Are you a morning person or a night person? You're not a morning person? Okay.
No, like I'm not.
I've got my coffee too. I got my little.
I was just talking about how last night my kids were over and they're adult children, but we had a pull-up contest in the garage. It's like 9 o'clock at night, like past my bedtime.
Did you have some wine? That's the real question.
I did. I did. We had of course I did. Of course I did. Who are you talking to?
I know. Right?
But we had sushi and all the garbage. Ooh. And oh my gosh. And it's always a contest at my house, like who can do more push-ups, pull-ups, whatever. It's just, we're a highly competitive family over here.
I never liked sushi for the longest time. I can't remember. I think maybe I was in college and I tried it and I was like, this is okay. Yeah. And then now I love it. I love it. But it's kind of like I say wine too. Like I started off not liking wine that much, just having to like dip into all the sweet wines and then get into the drier wines.
Yeah.
And I feel that way with sushi too. I'm like, okay, start off with like the California roll, the like fake sushi.
Right. Right. With nothing in it really.
And then slowly. But I love me some sushi too. So
amazing.
Good.
I actually woke up this morning and I was laughing about this. So I need to cut down on my screen time. I've been noticing how much I'm actually spending on my phone, and it's not for productive reasons. So and of course I get caught up on these videos this morning and I'm like, I'm literally watching like a Ric Flair video with Mike Tyson smoking a cigar. And I watched this for 3 minutes. I'm like, that's 3 minutes of my life. I can't get back watching these two old guys smoke cigars together. What am I doing? Why am I putting so much screen time on for this? Why?
I know. It's crazy. It's so funny you say that though, because I just had a couple conversations about that exact point, like, because I've been watching some different videos and inspirational things, and I feel like 2 a.m, I'm like, I grab my phone, I go on, social media, I check that, and that's kind of like my, I'm gonna wake up and like slowly start the day, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have like that be my focal point and that be my must have when I get up. So I think I'm going to change that. And I think I'm going to do the opposite and just like all morning, put my phone away, not really look. Obviously it wakes me up in the morning, but after that, the struggle I have, and I don't know how you feel about this, is like, so my family's not with me, emergencies, obviously your kids, things like that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, should I have my phone? Like, should I have my phone away? But I think Apple has the like do not disturb, where you can, I guess, focus on and let others, like family members or whoever you want, get in touch with you. So maybe that's the workaround that I do. But that's kind of my hesitation. And then with cheer too, sometimes because we have practices 2 days a week, and typically I go into work, and then after work, I maybe come home, change real quick, and then head to the stadium, or I go straight from work. It's like an all day affair. So I don't have time to go home and get any like last minute things that I need. So that's also, I'm like, So if I need something for cheer and I don't look at my phone. So, but again, I'm like, Rachel, is it just excuses? Like, stop, put the phone away.
I'm addicted. Like, and I'll tell myself, well, if you're doing something productive, don't feel bad that you're on your phone, right? Like, I'm checking emails, or I'm responding to people who have asked me a question. But then I go from that to Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go from Pinterest to TikTok. And then I'm like, stop it.
What's your big social media right now? What do you go to the most?
Instagram.
Yeah, that's me too. That's me too.
Guilty. So guilty. And now that, I mean, TikTok's even taking over Instagram. So it's just, maybe that will eliminate the need for me to be on TikTok so much. I'll just be on Instagram all day.
Yeah, I started doing the TikTok, like watching the videos during COVID, and I'm completely off of it, and everybody's on it, and I'm like, something's wrong. But maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a blessing.
Right. I've got a niece who's like TikTok famous. So I'm always watching. I'm always watching her videos. When she was still in high school, this was like 4 or 5 years ago, she was TikTok famous, and all of her videos were so sad. And I thought, people want to watch the sadness. She loved it though. Like, she would be doing Billie Eilish songs and like tears, and now she's just really cute and pretty, and she was a dancer for years. So anyway, she's like TikTok famous. These people eat her videos up. So I'm always wanting to see, like, what's she doing? What's going on? What's she doing?
Mm-hmm. Well, I like TikTok too for the like meals, like, and the cool, like, house item, like finds.
Yes.
And like, I think that is awesome. That's saved me a few times here and there. But I'm like, okay, that I'm so in for, but I've tried to do some of the TikTok dances. Those things are not easy.
No,
they take a lot of time. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Seriously, and you're used to getting dances down pretty fast for cheer. So if you're telling me it's hard, I'm throwing in the towel, because
you're like, I'm not gonna try.
Like, the saying is, you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. I'm an old dog. I can't learn new stuff. So
listen, I'm right there with you. I'm like, Instagram it is.
I was actually, so I use Pinterest for outfits too.
Yes.
I was supposed to go to a dinner after work tonight, and it's just a casual kind of thing. And I thought, okay, my outfits go from like, activewear, yoga pants, whatever, to really dressy clothes. So I'm like, I need in between stuff. So the place that we're going is kind of casual. So I'm like on Pinterest, like, okay, casual, dressy, casual. Casual, dressy with heels. Like, I'm typing in all the categories. Like, what, when you go from like yoga stuff to like dressed up clothes, like, I need the in-between stuff. Like, that's a category we need, the in-between category.
I know. So, it's hard. It's hard to figure out all that stuff.
Impossible. That's what Pinterest is for. Again, more screen time. Pinterest.
I haven't used Pinterest for that, but that's really interesting. I like that. Gosh. I've used Pinterest though for, like ideas, like decorating and all that stuff. And also it used to, so with COVID, I haven't traveled too much. But when I was traveling, I used Pinterest because they would have like the maybe top 15 places to go see in New York City or or wherever, like even abroad. So whenever I'm kind of that planner, which some people don't necessarily, like, they are just go with the flow, like, oh, we're going to this place, we'll figure it out. I'm kind of like, I used to be very much so like, we need to plan the whole trip. We need to go here. If we don't go there, we need to go. It's like an awesome place to go to.
Right.
Now I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like, I need to have I need to have a list of things that there are to do. So you're not like wasting time
trying to search.
Yes.
There. Yeah.
So Pinterest helped with that. And then I also do like the Instagram hashtags and stuff, and like try to find some cool places and all that. So that's helpful.
So the Instagram hashtags is actually how I found my favorite paddleboarding spots. For anybody that doesn't, oh my gosh, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm a huge paddleboarding enthusiast. So anywhere I fly, if there's a body of water, I'm flying a paddleboard with me. So actually the private island that you went to with me, that Big Hickory, I found that through hashtag. Beautiful. That was through hashtag on Instagram. I was like, okay, I'm going to check this out. And then it only ended up being like 5 minutes from the condo. So I'm like, how have I not known about this place? Anyway, hashtag.
I feel like there are so many hidden gems, but it's hard to find them.
You got to rely on other people to share it. If they'll share it on social media and your screen time is as high as mine, you're going to find it. So
you get that notification on your phone. Your screen time went up this week.
I know. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a loser. Like, what am I doing?
No.
There's Misty on her phone again.
I know. I actually do like that do not disturb piece on the phones now. I think that's super helpful. And it kind of lets other people know too, like, hey, I'm, busy with work or this or that. And like, I'm not going to get back to you ASAP. But it's also bad, I feel like, when you like text somebody and they have that on and then you go to text them again for some other reason and you're like, oh, so you definitely saw my message, but you didn't respond.
You haven't responded. Like, no, my kids are the worst about that because, and my oldest son, he'll even say like, put your red notifications on. I'm like, no, I don't want people to know when I've read their messages. He's like, well, mine's on. I said, no, I know, because I will text you and I know that you read it 3 days ago. And then I have to text again like a stalker and say, hi.
Yeah, right.
I know you saw my message, dude. Like, get in there, read my stuff, quit being rude.
I know the read receipts is interesting. I don't think I've ever turned mine on.
I
know people that have. Yeah. It's I guess it's not that I don't mind that people know that I read their message. I just think too, maybe both of us with and this is how I feel. I'm not sure, you can tell me how you feel, but like, I may read your message, but I'm like, maybe my boss walks in and I'm having a conversation, or like the phone rings, or I'm like running around and I'm like, I can't message you back and I don't want you to feel offended. So why put on read receipts and have you be upset with me for absolutely no reason? Like,
that is it. Like 9 times out of 10, somebody does walk in or I get interrupted.
Yeah.
But so, man, I'm terrible. Like, I will literally keep, actually Post-its and a pin in my office, like when I'm working, because if I do open someone's message and I don't have time to get back to them, I start making a list of names I haven't texted back yet. Like, I need to get back to this person. I open up all these messages. Again, we talked about this.
Yeah.
We talked about this, how you and I both do a lot of audio messages back and forth because I don't have time to text. Like, it's like, I'll just make a list. And then I'm not going to say there's a ranking order, but sometimes there's a ranking order on who's more important and who I'm going to hit back first, because
Absolutely.
I shouldn't even tell this secret, but a large amount of my clients, I won't mention which sport, a large amount of my clients actually have 2 cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one phone is actually for people who I guess are on the less important list. Right. And then the one phone is for the more important people, like the closest to. So that way they know that if they're getting calls or messages on this phone, they can wait a little bit. It's maybe not as important. This one's the more important one, like close family, whatever. And I thought to myself, I need 2 phones. I need the less important
my God,
and the more important, right?
So I like that idea, but I feel like if I had 2 phones for that purpose, I would be like, oh, I still would be all over. I have 2 phones, one for work, one for personal. Yeah. So that's just like a requirement for my company, just from like a regulation perspective, to keep an eye on our conversations with clients and stuff like that. And I absolutely love it. I had the option when I first joined the company to add it to my personal device, which I could have done, or have a separate one. And I've done both. Well, I've typically had it on my personal, and you can't separate the 2, like the work and personal. It's so difficult. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try to have like 2 different phones, try and keep it separate. Oh my God, it's so much better. I can just like put that phone away at night and not look at it. Cause I would check that thing, all my emails, and you get emails throughout the night.
Oh yeah.
Phone calls, all that stuff. So yeah, that's definitely helped. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting that they have 2 phones.
2, yeah.
It makes sense though, for them, because they're getting hit up left and right. I'm sure too, like when big things are happening, whether it's like games that they're doing awesome in, Super Bowl stuff, all of that. They probably had people from 20 years ago reach out.
Congratulations. I always knew you were great. Like,
oh, by the way, can you get me tickets to the Super Bowl?
Right. Tickets. Oh man, I'll tell you what, that I'm a big fat nobody in that world. And I was getting messages from people whose numbers I didn't even have saved in my phone. They were like, hey, listen, I don't want to pay the prices on StubHub to go to the Titans game. Like, is there any way? What? No, I don't even know who this is.
No, it's crazy. And even like for me too, I'm happy to, help anybody in any way, but I'm like, we don't even get special services for a lot of that stuff. I'm like, I'm trying to get tickets too. Okay.
You're like, I'm also not trying to pay StubHub prices. Thank you.
Right. So
it's like, I keep messing with my hair. I've got like morning hair. Like I woke up and I did run a brush through it. I swear I did brush it, but
I know.
I'm like, what's all this?
These headphones are so fun too.
They are, right? Like just gonna...
in a good and a bad way, because I never know how to finagle my hair with it.
I know. I was just thinking like the Princess Leia look. Like, did she like like the two cinnamon rolls on the side? I don't know.
Oh my God. It's so funny too with like hair, because I never know what to do with my hair all the time. And even with cheer too. Oh my gosh. So the Steelers game, right?
I saw your hair. It was straight and it looks so gorgeous.
It wasn't straight on purpose.
Uh-oh.
No, it's fine. And I knew that that's how it was going to be, because it was raining. Okay. So
humid. It was so humid.
That was our first regular season game, which means Sunday game, 1:00 start. We get to the stadium I get there at 7:30. I get there super early. We have our call time, which means like when we are about to go practice, we have like a whole morning routine, which is like super awesome, but definitely like we prep and have everything ready for game day. So we walk through everything. Okay. It's hardcore. And we have to be ready by 8:30. So that means you're checked in, you're changed, you're stretched, like the whole thing, you're set up, ready to go, your locker, all that fun stuff. So I definitely have coffee in the morning, but that morning it was like weird weather. So is it gonna rain? Is it like, what is going on? Also, that game was the craziest weather I think I've ever had in a game. But because of that, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do a light curl. Well, light curl means completely straight when it's raining, humid.
Straight. Yeah, you ran out there. I was like, oh, her hair's straight. Oh, it looks so pretty. Look at her. She straightened her hair.
I know.
You're like, no, the weather straightened my hair.
The weather did, but it was fine. I don't mind. I usually curl it for that, nice fun volume and all that stuff. And it's a process trying to learn how to like keep the hair out of your face and how to keep the curls and just have it look nice the whole game, because we're not like playing around with our hair. Like when you're dancing and you stop, like you're not supposed to really touch your hair, right? Your hair, like, but that game was crazy because, it gave me, just like flashbacks from, were you at the game that we played the Steelers in that, I think it was a wild card game like years ago for playoffs where we lost. So it was against the Steelers and it was like, that was the year we went 8-0. We were supposed to potentially go to the Super Bowl. There was all this hype. We played the Steelers. Of course, always a big game. And we ended up losing. And it was like neck and neck for the last couple minutes. And we ended up losing.
Imagine that. That's exactly what just happened.
It literally brought me back to that. And that was probably one of my favorite games to cheer because this is going to sound weird, but it was like downpouring rain. It like ended up, the lights were on, it was at night, and just like dancing and feeling the energy from the crowd because of it being so back and forth. It was just a really, really exciting game. So when this game happened, I was like, oh my God, this is the same thing. This is literally giving me the same vibes. I'm like, please. And then obviously the end of the game, I was like, no.
It was a rough game to watch. I was in the friends and family section, and I had so many drunk people in front of me. So we're talking like we're in overtime or getting close to it at some point, and these drunk people can't even say Money Mag. They're like, Money Mag. And they're just drunk and their elbows are flying at me. And I'm like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I cannot deal with like 4 hours of drunk people. I can't do it. Like, get me out of here. And I don't know how these people can drink like that for 4 hours. I've said it before, like how these people have been tailgating. Now you're going into overtime. Like they can't even pronounce their words anymore at this point. I'm just like, oh. I don't even know how you guys feel because you're out there moving constantly. And of course the guys, I think the offense had something like over 100 snaps. Like the offense had so many plays. And I'm sitting there doing absolutely nothing and sitting in a puddle of my own sweat. And I'm like, I've been sitting in my own sweat for like 30 minutes now. I can only imagine how hot you guys are down there because I'm dying. I'm just sitting here around drunk people. I'm dying. It
was the craziest. It was like typical Ohio weather all 4 seasons in one game. Like I swear it was raining, cloudy, sun came out, like super hot. Then it was really windy. It was like every single
everything
mix of weather during that game.
It was crazy.
But it's funny though, I would rather it be hot than cold, which is crazy because coming from Buffalo, you'd think, oh, you're used to the cold. Like you want the cold. No, absolutely not. When I can't feel my hands or my toes, like that is not what I want. When
That's the idea.
Yeah. And when you're dancing and you're moving around, like it definitely gets you warm, but like for the cold games, no, I would rather be warm. I love the heat. So I'm like, bring on the warmth. But that game was, every mix. I also don't get, and maybe it's just me, if I'm going to a football game, if I'm going to any sporting event, I'm down to grab drinks and do all that stuff. But I actually want to watch the game and like be into the game. So I don't get why you get so drunk that you don't
even know what's happening. Right. You don't even know what's happening. Like these guys, they weren't even aware of what was going on with the football. First of all, that the reason why he was having so many issues, like these people were so drunk. I couldn't even focus on what was going on because again, one guy like reached back and spilled stuff. And I'm like,
we hear them on the field too. We hear and we can see some of that stuff. If you're in the 100 levels, we can see some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's where I was. I was like, this is like, man, sometimes it's just good to just be home and have it on TV and just, not do that stuff. But it is what it is.
It's fun. The atmosphere was really, really cool.
It was. Yeah.
We could not hear. We were like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. It'll be fun to see this season, how fans are and all that stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, it was like entering the stadium, it's always that bottleneck. It's like this big bunch of people bottlenecks into this tiny thing, and you're just shoved up against like sardines. And you're like, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry, excuse me.
COVID, what?
And then I get road rage when I'm walking. So like I hate saying this. That makes me such an a-hole. I'm such an a-hole walker. Like if somebody in front of me, I'm like I'm weaving in and out like I drive. So I'm like walk around. I'm breathing. I'm silent.
Oh yeah.
Just move. And I'm like I have road rage when I walk.
No, I'm the same way. I'm like, come on, guys, let's go. You get stuck behind that one person that's just like slow. I'm like, no, I'm trying to get somewhere. Let's go.
Honey, this ain't a Sunday morning drive. Get the F out of the way. I'm trying to get to my nachos. You're going to have to go.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Oh man. So like I was already like I told my kid last night and they were over here late last night. I said, "Oh man, it's already been like the longest week ever and it's literally Wednesday." And I don't even know, like days at this point don't even matter. To me, it doesn't matter if it's Friday and it doesn't matter if it's Saturday anymore because every day is a long day. Today's a long day, tomorrow's a long day. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Week one, we're in so much trouble. I'm already tired.
I know. It's crazy. I feel like, and I don't know if you feel like this with life, it's like there's never a down point. At least I feel like when I, knock off one thing off my list, if it's a to-do list, or maybe it's, something I'm involved in or whatever, I either pick something back up or something happens and something gets added to my list. Like you're always, and maybe that's just my personality too. I like kind of being busy and it keeps me organized and it keeps me on task and like, keeping everything moving. So, but I feel like there's never a dull moment. There's never, I do have a trip coming up where I am doing like an all-inclusive type. I think I'm going to put my phone away that trip and just like soak it all in. Yes.
That's but like, call.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes we need to do that stuff, even if it's for like a day, check out of social media, check out of whatever it is, and just like kind of detox from all of that stuff.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything like I'm taking a trip during the bye weekend. I think I'll be a couple days, but that's my next trip. But that's what paddleboarding allows me to do because I'm on the board. Like my phone is put away. I'm out there on the board, just in my own world. Everyone's like, how do you vacation alone? I'm like, how do you not vacation alone? Like, I can't imagine not vacationing alone. Like, since my kids have grown, I've become like such a selfish person and I don't care. Like, it feels good. It feels good to not have to go putt golfing and to the zoo and to all these restaurants. Like, I get to be the most selfish person. So when I take any trip and I'm on my paddleboard, the phone is done. It's gone. Like, I'm in my own world. Which brings me to my next point. I don't know how I'm ever going to date. I was telling someone this the other day. I've become such a selfish person. I can't imagine, like, if someone was like, well, we should do this together, I'd be like, I don't think I want to do anything together. I have a problem. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to date, but that's fine. It's fine. This is fine. That's normal, right? It is.
I feel like it's hard. I have this conversation with friends all the time, guys, girls, all the above, on just how dating has changed, how it's so different, how it's hard to organically meet people nowadays. It's always through apps, whether it's a dating app or it's social media or whatnot. So it makes it hard, and people, I don't know, I feel like people are very picky and they want this or that. And it's kind of like you have to figure out, and whether it's writing down or like, really thinking about the must-haves and being able to compensate on the I wants but don't needs.
Right.
And I think we live in a society where it's so easy to be like, I'm going to go, okay, you're not perfect for me, so I'm going to go on social media. I'm going to go on this app and I'm going to and you're looking for this perfect person instead of like just letting it go and just getting to know people and creating that friendship that leads into something more. Right. But I don't think, like, when you talk about like, oh, I'm selfish. I hate the word selfish because I don't think it's selfish for you to want to spend time with yourself, because I'm the same way. I, at some points, need to detox and like
Yeah.
get in my zone. And it's, some people are extroverted, some are introverted. I've found that I've become more introverted as I've gotten older. I feel like how I like to use the term, one of my friends said this to me because I was like, oh, I love people. I love seeing people and being around people, and it, like, all my friends, family, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like at the end of the day, how do you recharge? Is it being around people, or is it like being by yourself and maybe reading a book, or just like, if it's meditation or journaling, or even watching a show or whatever it is, like, what is your recharge? For me, it's like my me time. And what does that look like for you?
Oh man, I think it just depends on how late I work. Like sometimes I'm just so tired.
Right.
Like sometimes I'm just so tired. I can't wait to sleep. But it's like, no. So to be fair, I'm not on any dating sites. You already know how I feel about that. I don't like. I always
Did you try them though? Did you try them?
I tried them. I did for like a week.
That's not long enough. You got to try for like a month. Then
no, man, I'm telling you, I found that, and listen, I don't want to offend anybody that uses these and has had success, because I have had lots of friends that did.
Yeah.
It's just that it's not for me. I find that I need to meet somebody organically. I need to find somebody that's already in my world, maybe even in sports, because they'll understand what my schedule looks like. They'll understand why my schedule looks like this. I don't have to explain anything. And I think too, like, I just can't get into the person that, and again, I'm not trying to offend anybody that's on these. Again, I have friends that have had success. I just don't want to feel like I'm meeting somebody that has been shopping so hard that they're willing to make a square peg fit in a circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like the very limited conversations I had for that entire week, it was with people that were shopping so ridiculously hard for somebody. And I thought, that's what I want.
That's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not shopping. I'm in a space where if I meet somebody organically and I have a minute to talk to you, I'm going to talk to you, but I don't have time to shop. Does that make sense?
I think it's hard because everybody wants to paint the picture perfect vision of themselves instead of just being real. Like, hey, if this is your personality, we may not mesh well.
Right.
And that's totally fine. And I think it's the rejection piece. People do not want to feel rejected.
No.
And they take that to heart. And everybody does. Nobody wants to feel rejected. That's like the worst feeling in the world. You're like, I'm not good enough. What?
Nobody wants that. But it's again, I think too, like, I mean, to be fair, I was on there for a week, and I think I probably did talk to probably 5 guys, and at least 4 out of the 5, when they found out what I did, what my job was, because eventually you come clean about it. The minute you say what your actual name is and what you do, they can Google me. They can find my office address. They're going to find out everything about me. And it's like, shit, I hate to even give them my real name because they're going to find out everything about me in like 2 seconds. But then the biggest thing for these guys was like, well, do you date these athletes that you're working on? And all of a sudden,
really?
Their biggest insecurities were out within seconds. And I thought, this is why I don't want to be here. I'm going to have to it's going to have to be somebody probably in sports for sure. So we'll see. If it ever happens, it happened.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from. When people are in the industry, they know your schedule, instead of it being like, why can't you make time for me? Well, live in my shoes for a day. Then you understand, like, it's not that I don't want to make time for you. I'm making time for you. It's just different than somebody that's not in the industry. So I get dealing with somebody that's in sports, and just understanding that makes it so much easier. But at the same time, sometimes it can complicate things too. Like, they have their own idea of how it all should be. It's like a catch-22. It is. I feel like for us, it's kind of finding that, person that loves sports and has that knowledge and likes to work out, likes to do the fun things that you you like to do.
Right.
So it makes it that easy transition too. When they're in sports, you're like, oh, okay, well, you like all that stuff too.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, is like the last thing you want to do if you're someone like you or I is meet somebody who's a fan of whatever team you're working with, because then you're like, I don't want to, because then I'm like, oh, what's so-and-so like? And is he funny? Is he really a nice guy? Is he down to earth? Like, this is
they go fanboy on you.
This is not a date. Like, we're not even.
Oh my God.
You want to go out with that guy? I'll ask if he'll go out with you. Like,
I had a situation like that with an ex. And it was so, like, I was like, oh, cool. This is my LeBron story. And I was like,
yes.
oh, LeBron, like, oh, he's there. That's awesome. Like, cool. Everybody's taking selfies with him, like in the background, whatever. And my ex at the time was like, we should, you want a picture? And I was like, I mean, he's busy, you know, he definitely doesn't want a picture with me. So I'm like, it's cool. He's right there. Awesome. He's like, no, you want a picture. I was like, in my head, no, you want a picture.
I know what you're up to. You're fanboying out over there.
Oh my gosh. But totally. These guys are just normal guys, you know, the guys that come into the office, you know, all that stuff. So it's like when people say that to us, oh, tell me about so-and-so, it kind of is a turn off. Right. You're like,
right.
You're like, I know. Yeah.
Like, no, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Yeah. It's a whole different world, but you know, one of my really good friends and clients, she's been single for a while. She's like, I'm convinced that she's like, this is how I picture the single man in Cincinnati. He's like in a brown leisure suit and he golfs every weekend. And I'm like, that's pretty much how I picture it too. And that is not what those men look like, but that's what I see in Cincinnati. Like the average man in Cincinnati. I golf on the weekends and I like to watch the Bengals on Sundays. That's what there is here. Somebody say it's
hard. I feel like I never dated anybody from Cincinnati.
No, I don't either.
Not in a bad way, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm really trying to pinpoint like the reason, but yeah, I never dated anybody from Cincinnati. And and we talk about this, like, is it Cincinnati? Is it also like, where do you meet people? Like, where do you meet? Because you want to meet the guys that aren't partying all the time, that have a great career, their head on their shoulders, they have goals, they have the same drive that you have, like, and somebody that you can grow your life with. And it's like, where do you go?
Yeah, you're not going to find those out because
to organically meet them. Like,
you can't, because if I meet somebody that's out and this is his norm, then I know he's not at home making goals. I know he's definitely not doing anything to make those goals happen either, because this is where he's at all the time. So that's not going to work for me either.
So it's like, if you go to the bar, because you want to meet at the bar. Okay, sporting events, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, like through friends, and I don't know. Nowadays, I don't know.
I don't know either. It's that's to be continued. We'll see what happens. Like, it's early. What is it? September. We'll see. Hey, maybe by January. Maybe.
Yeah, it's cuffing season's coming up, right?
We've got the holidays coming up, you know?
Well, yeah, holidays, the cold, all that fun stuff.
Right.
So,
we'll see what happens.
I know. So it's crazy because I used to be, I think, more of a night person, and I'm a morning person. Like, I don't know, I'm both. Like, I guess more of a morning person. I can like wake up and people are like, have you had your coffee today? And I'm like, no, this is just me. Like, I don't know. I feel like And it's totally fine if you're, slow to wake up and all that stuff. But I'm up, I'm like, positive, let's go, let's start the day. I like to work out in the mornings if I can. I used to. I need to get back on that schedule. With cheer, we have night practices. So I'm trying to figure out how to coordinate all that. But I used to be a morning workout person. But I know, and I'm curious how you feel about this. So with nutrition and all of that stuff, some people like to work out in the mornings. I do. I like to knock it out of the way so that when I get off work towards the end of the day, I'm not exhausted and I'm not like, I have to work out. Do I work out? Do I not work out? And then you have that choice in that moment and you're like,
right.
Let's
giving yourself the out if you're tired. Yeah.
Yes.
I've given myself the out many times.
Yes. So I like to do mornings, but I know that my body is still waking up. So I may not lift as heavy as I do in the afternoons and all of that stuff. So
that's true.
Go back and forth on that. But I still like to knock it out earlier. And I still feel like that's the route that I want to go. But then I get you need to work out later on, not in a bad way, but so that you can, build that muscle and do all of that stuff. And I'm like,
that's the truth though. If I do the 6 a.m. CrossFit class, my nervous system, it's firing, but I'm not lifting as heavy as I would if I'd have waited till the 9 a.m. class. If I can hit the 9 a.m. class, I can go so much heavier. My nervous system's ready. It's just, it's not ready. It's not, what am I saying? It's after 9 now and it's not ready. I'm out of coffee.
I need more.
I need more.
Are you a pre-workout or energy drink girl at all?
No. So I think pre-workouts make my stomach hurt. You get the energy, but I want to say 30 minutes into the workout, I feel pretty sick to my stomach. So I learned to use stuff like oatmeal, and my son laughed at me for this. He's like, oatmeal for pre-workout.
I love oatmeal.
Dude, cream of rice. Cream of rice is a killer pre-workout. If you put just the right amount of protein powder into that cream of rice, I feel like that's my go-to.
The struggle. The struggle I have is I can't eat heavy before I work out. I have a piece of fruit and an apple gives me a little boost of carbs, just a little bit to give me that energy for the workout. But if I can't drink a protein shake, I can't eat super heavy or anything like that before I work out. Cause I feel it. I'm like, oh, right. So I just eat little things. And it's funny. So the other thing, for game days and stuff, I eat peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Those are my favorite. But when I grew up, when I played soccer, and we had tournaments on the weekend, my dad was known as the peanut butter and jelly man. Literally for when we travel, he would have peanut butter and jelly, the jars. He'd have 2 loaves of bread because all the girls would be like, hey, Mr. C, can you, we need a peanut butter. Yes.
I love that.
Anytime. So for some reason that sits well with me. But other stuff,
not sitting well.
I can't. I could do a protein bar, but I don't know how you feel about protein bars, but
I feel they're a little heavy. I think they can be a little heavy on the stomach too.
I have yet to find a really great low cal, low carb protein bar. That's usually they're 200 and some calories, which is fine-ish, but I don't know. When I talk to some of my guy friends too, they're like, oh, that's fine. I'm like, you're a dude. You can eat how many calories a day?
Right. You can eat, right. We're women. For example, if I do the same CrossFit workout as one of the guys in the class, he's going to burn 800 active calories, probably 1,100 total. And mine's 450.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Isn't it crazy?
We are not the same. Yes. We don't get to eat all that food. We're not burning that much. We did the same workout. We don't get to burn that much. It's not fair. So yeah, and my pre-workout, I I can't lift on an empty stomach. I have to have something coming from somewhere, but I try to do 200 calories of something. So if it's like a third cup of the oatmeal,
yeah,
and then like some of the protein powder, that usually gives me a quick 200 calories. I just stir it all in together, or the cream of rice and some protein powder, that usually helps. And it's easy to digest. I think if you stick with something easy to digest prior to a workout, you're just better off. I feel like on those protein bars, I don't digest those very easily. Those sit with me for a while. Like,
they don't fill me up either, which is bad.
Because
I'm still hungry.
Right. I need some food. Like,
yeah.
I feel like if you're going to eat a protein bar, you might as well have a Snickers, because that's, to me, that's
very true. Like, it's honestly the same similar amount of calories too. So.
It is. A Snickers or a protein bar, 220. I'm probably going to eat the
Which one? Snickers, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Probably sits on my stomach better anyway. On that note, I got to get ready for work.
Oh, you're fine.
But on that note, I hope everybody enjoyed our quick little morning talk. Rachel and I catching up. I believe she's in Buffalo this morning.
I am. Visiting the fam. I love being home, and it's a good time of year to be in Buffalo because there's no snow on the ground.
There's no black ice or any of that going on. Like, you can drive the road safely. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining Rachel, Lee, and I for Sports and Ish, another week with us. So find us on YouTube, like, rate, and review us. Leave some comments. We'll comment back. Find us on your favorite podcast platform, including Spotify and Apple. You guys have a great week. Take care.
Bye.